Alright, this is help for video or worksheet 515. You'll notice at the top that we have a different type of quadratic equation, where this one we have the letter or the number, the coefficient as we call it, alright, to use a nerdy word, alright. So the coefficient in front of the p squared, or what we call the a, is greater than 1. And when that is, we have to use, and there's several different words for this, but we call it advanced factoring. Okay, and so you'll do this with, I believe, 15 and 16, because 17 through 20 is just basic factoring or normal factoring, like what we did with 514. So now we do what is called key and coe. All right, can anything come out of everything? All right, does 7, 26, and 8 share a factor? No, they don't. Okay, so we'll just leave that as it is. Okay, then the next one, okay, we take A times C. This is where we take, and if I were to label this, this would be A, B, and C. And we will use this later on, okay, when we get to the quadratic equation. I know, ooh, sounds exciting. All right, but now we take A times C, to where I take this number times the last. So I have P squared plus 26p minus 56. All right. Now, I factor as usual, where I'm looking for, and this is just like what we did with our basic factoring. Okay. What are my factors of 56? If I multiply, I get a negative 56. If I combine, I get a 26. So let's just write out our factors. 1 and 56, 2 and 28. 3 doesn't go into it. Does 4? Yeah, 4 goes into it. 4, 1, and I think 14. Yeah. Okay, 4 and 14. 5 doesn't. 6 doesn't. 7 does. Okay, 7 and 8. Okay, so now what are my factors? If I multiply, I get a negative 56. If I combine, I get a positive 26. Well, if I look at 1 and 56, this is either 57 and 55. Okay, or I look at this one and it's 30 or 26. Hey, aha, that's what I'm looking for. So I've got P, all right, minus 28, all right, and then, or I'm sorry, plus 28, and P minus 2. Okay, so those are my factors. All right, so now I have to account for this number right here, the A that I just multiplied everything by. I got to bring it back. So now we call it, put our A's back in front of our variables, or a lot of times these are X's, so I just call them X's. In this case, they're a P. So now I have 7P plus 28. 7P minus 2. Okay, now I reduce wherever I can. Now sometimes I can't, like in this case I can't. 7 and 2 don't share a factor, but 7 and 28 do, and they both share a 7. So now I'm going to reduce this to P plus 4 and 7P minus 2. Now, through the wonders of magic of math, if I were to FOIL all this out, I know FOIL is a bad word for some people, all right, but yes, if I was to FOIL all this out, okay, I would wind up back at my original problem, 7p squared plus 26p minus 8. Okay, so now I'm looking for the solution. I'm looking for the solve. And so now I take p plus 4 is equal to 0. 7p minus 2 is equal to 0. P is equal to negative 4. And p is equal to, if I add 2, divide by 7, I have a positive 2 over 7. Okay? Now, the benefit for factoring is that with all of these, we're looking for, where do these parabolas, because this is a parabola, this is a parabola, okay, where do they cross the x-axis? Well, they're going to cross right here at positive 2 over 7 and negative 4. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of factoring, because it's a whole lot easier to draw this out knowing where it crosses the x-axis. And of course we know that the y-intercept is the c value, the negative 8. Okay, now what's another way that we can solve? Okay, and so now we're looking at completing the square. Okay, and that is for 21 and 22. So I'm going to do 21. You follow the steps, do the same exact steps. Okay, it'll work for 22, I promise you. All right, so I'm just going to abbreviate some of these. So we're going to start with, get everything to one side. Okay, I want to make my quadratic equal to 0. Now this is going to be very important, okay, when you have a test again on next Friday, okay, that will have these problems. And so I've got to get all of this equal to 0. That's always my first step. So I'm going to add 4. So I'm left with k squared minus 20k minus 44, okay, equals 0. Did that part. Okay, the next part, all right, is that I have to move c. All right, now we all know that c is this part right here, kind of what we did up here. That's the c value, so I got to move c over. So now I'm just going to do that by k squared minus 20k and add 44 to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to divide by a. Now since a is 1, nothing's going to change. So this is k squared minus 20k equals 44. All right, now the next part. All right, so now that I divided by a, okay, now I can complete the square. All right, I've got to look for what goes inside of here. And that's when we add b over 2. Oops, don't want it to go there. Sorry about that. Let me correct that and clean that. All right, so now I've got add b over 2 squared to both sides. So now I have k squared minus 20k. All right, and so now I take negative 20 over 2, negative 10. Negative 10 squared is 100. So I'm going to add 100. But of course, just like in math, if I do it to one side, have to do it to the other. So that's going to be 144. Okay? So now I'm going to factor. Now, whatever was in this part right here is going to be the number in your factoring right there. Okay? Because we talk about completing the square. There's the square. Okay? What is it squared? Well, when I took negative 20, the b, divided by 2, I had negative 10. So I take k minus 10. Now, you can also look at it like basic factoring, like what we did in 514. What are my factors? If I multiply, I get 100. If I combine, I get a negative 20, and that's negative 10. Equals 144. Now, I take the square root of both sides. Okay? And that's going to leave me with k minus 10 equals 12 and negative 12. So now I'm just going to add 10 to both sides. So now I'm going to solve. Okay, solve for k, add 10, and add 10. Because again, if I take the square root of 144, it's going to be a positive 12 or a negative 12. So I have 12 plus 10 is 22. Negative 12 plus 10 minus 2. And that are these, hey, I'm a math teacher, not an English teacher, okay? Those are your answers right there, 22 and negative 2. And that was for worksheet 5-15.